My name is Pat Burton, and I'm secretary for the State Reading Society, and we're glad to have you here today. We're going to talk a little bit about cooking from your pantry. I think one thing that I have a really hard time with sometimes is I've got all this stuff in my food storage and in my pantry, but I don't use it enough. I like fresh foods, and so it's hard to think of stuff to use it for. So we're going to talk a little bit today about what you can do to perhaps help that, and there's some other advantages to being able to do this. So, Rochelle, would you read that?
I would love to. Okay. I probably shouldn't put all down in my mouth again. As long as I can remember, we have been taught to prepare for the future and to obtain a year's supply of necessities. I believe the time to disregard this counsel is over. With the events in the world today, it must be considered with all seriousness. Start now to create a plan if you don't already have one, or update your present plan. Watch for books that best buys. Okay, I want to make sure that will fit into your year's supply. The instability in the world today makes it imperative that we take heed of the counsel and prepare for the future.
So I think that's why we're here. But one of the things that I want to talk about is how often do we decide we're hungry, can't find something to fix, and so we run to McDonald's and grab something for the kids. I mean, I'm guilty of this as well. We have a fast food mentality, and what I'd like to help you change that to is real food fast, okay? So the things that we're going to show you how to do can be done probably in less time than it would take to drive to McDonald's and back. They are complete meals, most of them. Some of them are things that you can add to a meal. They may include frozen or refrigerator items, but the majority of it comes from your pantry, from the food storage. And you can do some things that can help you save money and actually make it faster next time you need to do something. One of these is, I go down to Costco and buy those huge bags of Parmesan cheese, and I bag them in either 1 to 2 cups in a freezer bag and stick those in my freezer. Then when I'm ready for a recipe, I can just pull it out. Another thing you can do, you can prepare hamburgers, for example, and fry it up, season a little with onions or whatever you normally use in your hamburger mix. Put those in 2 cup, I don't know why that did that. Put those in 2 cup freezer containers in your freezer, and then the next time you want to do tacos or chili or any of those kinds of things, you can pull it out of the freezer and have it done in just a few minutes. You should always store basic pantry items. Like I don't go without soy sauce or Worcestershire. I can't say that, but bottled ginger, lemon juice, those kinds of things that you have staples, you can add to the food so that you can make it even more palatable. These taste really good. They don't taste like you're doing dehydrated foods, okay? Which sometimes isn't so good. But it's going to save you time, it's going to save you money. It's good for emergencies. If you, for example, when we had the fire and we had to evacuate really quickly, I grabbed 2 or 3 of these, threw them in the camper, and then we took off we had food to eat, okay? You can do that instead of spending $8 or $10 for those emergency preparedness kinds of meals that you can get. This is quick, it tastes good, it's real food, and it's fast. So that's one thing to do. You also control the ingredients. So you put into it whatever you want. And if you're allergic to the food, if you have a food intolerance, celiacs or something, you can make sure that kit has everything in it that's not there. That's your family member who's got that issue. So, and you can make sure that the things that you put in it are the things that you eat. The next thing that we're going to talk about a little bit, and I didn't prepare a whole thing of this, but if you want to prepare, you know, we've talked about how we should have at least a couple weeks worth of really easy foods to fix if there's an emergency. And this allows you to do that very easily. So if you can figure out, let's say 14 meals that will take care of your dinner needs, that are all in your boxes or your bags, and then figure out how much that takes. You can multiply that if you do that, you multiply it by 26, that will give you a dinner menu for a year. So it's kind of a, I mean, you can set this up so that you can use your storage for that entire year. Once you've got that plan, you can figure out on a list how much you need of each item, get those items, put your boxes together, and you're set. It's really kind of a simple thing. I also, in my old ward, I came from the Cedar Hills second ward before I moved here, and they put this cookbook together, and I'm going to pass it around so you can take a look at it. But it's got all kinds of menus that are very easy to turn into a meal in a bag or meal in a box kind of thing. And you'll want to go through your own recipes and see if there's a way that you can put these together for yourself. And this is actually on the website. You can download the whole book. Okay. And I also have CDs here. I don't have a ton of them, but I do have some CDs that I've made of the book. So you can get it on your computer. Couple of tips and tricks that I use when I do this. Let me do this. It's going backwards. I'm not sure why. That's strange. Okay, I'll just talk. Couple of tips and tricks I found with using these. When you're putting together the packets that have the spices and things in them, it's just as easy to make 3 or 4 or 5 of them rather than just 1 or 2. For example, we're going to have you taste the spicy chicken recipe today, and this has all of the spices and everything to go into that meal. I usually make multiples of them, and then when I use the canned goods out of here, I just replace the canned goods. I've already got the spices, and that's what takes the most time, really, is to try to put all that together. So I put in several. Other things, I don't know if I've got one here, but some of the boxes will hold actually.
Sorry, I
Sorry,
didn't
no,
interrupt you.
please.
How many boxes do you put together at once, usually? How many meals would you say?
It just depends on how much you're trying to prepare for, but I usually put at least 10 or 12 of them together.
And how long would you say, like, they last if you, I
It
mean,
depends on what you've got.
see
How
what
often you
expired
use them.
foods and I
And
was
how soon they expire.
so worried about expired foods and freezer burn and all of that, so I'm not good at this, I need to be better.
Well, this will be really good if you put even enough to go for a year, for example. Most foods will last for 6 months to a year. If you can do that and use them once a week. Try them, see what works. That's the best part, is just to see if you can use up those items and do it. My husband and I are actually going to try a week with our food storage with nothing else. We haven't done it yet, but that's kind of our intent, is to try to use all of the things that we put together for at least a week and see what we use, what we need, what we like. That's another thing. If you don't store what you like or what you're going to eat, you won't eat it. So that's something you can look at. But what I was going to say is some of these boxes are big enough that you can put 2 servings in, 2 whole meals in. So that's, if I've done that, and I don't see it on these, but I put 2 servings on my box, so I know. I tape the recipe on the inside of the lid and make sure I know what it is on the outside. You can also put a date on there somehow. But the one drawback to that, Rochelle, is that if I keep filling it every time, then the date changes. So that might be something you might want to just stick in the box instead of on the box, and then you can use it. These boxes are, yeah, they're from Expedex, and they cost.
It's called Paper and More now in
Paper and
Provo.
More.
And they were like $1.25 or $1.50, something like that. I mean, per box. So, and if you read Paper and More, Paper Store and More, it's on State Street in Provo.
It's on the.
So it's where
orange
Expedex used to
yellow.
be. Yeah, right across from Luis's outdoor patio furniture, which has been there since Provo was built. So.
The other option is to put stuff in a bag. These bags are really cheap. But I don't like the bags as well because they don't stack. Okay, so I stack all these and then I can storage would be better. The other thing. I think, do you have any questions so far on this?
What is that exactly? What is that? Is it just separate meals?
Yes.
But
So
it's
you
all
can-
pantry
It's
items.
it's all pantry items, so you take this and you can make a meal. So,
So it makes
Yes.
it easier to rotate your food storage.
you can have all this on the website.
Yeah.
I, answering the question about fear about how long this stuff will last, my wife and I have noticed that, like, thank goodness now they actually put the date on the can.
Yes.
And one thing I've noticed is the meats have a really long shelf life. If you don't see it bulging or anything, it's probably still okay.
Still good.
And like I look at our tuna fish that we buy and it says like 2015 on it, you know, and so I think in general, tomato sauce is one of the biggest culprits to bulge.
It's the worst one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so outside of tomato sauce and, you know, it seems like the other things last a long time,
And they do.
even beyond what they put as the
I
date.
was about to ask that question.
Yes, sure.
My husband got upset with me because someone had given me some of their stuff from their food store because they were moving out of work. And I just saw the date and it was like either like 2 days or a week after. I was getting rid of them because well, but how much longer after that date? Because I know the only something they put a date there for us to have, but sometimes it lasts longer. But how much longer can that
It
date?
can last a long time after that, at least a year or two.
A year?
If that can,
It depends on the, it depends on what it is.
Yeah, it can.
Depends on what it
You
is.
need to
Jerry
watch like
tries.
mayonnaises and things like that, they'll go bad
Yeah.
really quickly around.
Fats and oils don't
But you
last.
can use the mayonnaises for 7 months, 10 days.
Okay, so because of the oily stuff is what?
Yeah, and dairy, like
Dairy.
the.
make sure the can isn't bulging. If your can
Keep
is
it
bulging, throw it away.
Okay.
Yeah.
My grandma had given me a bunch of canned goods, and I didn't even look at the date, and I opened it and put it in, it was like cream chicken soup. It expired in 2002,
Yep.
and it was still so
Still good. And
Yeah.
it'll
I was a
probably.
little grossed out when I found out, and I was like, oh, goodness, what?
Okay. So as long as it's not bulging.
Bulging, and like the tomato sauce, I've had those full up.
Exactly the same.
Full up. Yes, because it gets in that. So you want to watch certain things, certain things are gonna be, yeah.
It's a gas, it's a bacterial gas release in the food, but usually the other thing I think is the case is it's not so much that all of a sudden the food is poison.
No.
It's that the food value, the nutritional value decreases as it ages. So there's not really like a cliff where it's just a gradual decrease in the food value.
And the food itself may not be quite as flavorful or whatever, the food kind of deteriorates a bit.
So that's when I just like.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, I'm gonna have Lori and Kim come up and kind of explain their meals. Mine is gonna take me as long to tell you about it as it took me to put it together. This is the spicy chicken soup, and I opened 5 or 6 cans and threw it in the crock pot with my seasoning packet, and you'll get to taste that, okay? So Lori, come on up.
Okay, so I actually did warm cinnamon milk. This is something that we do at our house a lot. Because who has the dry milk that you don't know really what to do with? And you've got to use it because you've got to recycle it. Not recycle it, but
Yeah.
replenish. Anyway, it's a mix of the dry milk, coffee creamer, dried powdered coffee creamer, and some cinnamon and some sugar, and you mix it up, and it's kind of like a cinnamon steamer, vanilla, or it's like warm vanilla cinnamon steamer that you can buy at the gas station, or that hey, are you shaking your head at me? Or you can take the same stuff, put it in your blender with some ice and some water and visit, and it's almost like horchata. Not the same if you have the authentic stuff, but it's a fix. It's a fix. for in a bind when you want to have something like that. My kids love it, and I love hot chocolate during winter. But sometimes you want something besides the chocolate, which is weird, I know. You might want something a little bit lighter. That's what I do. I'll do the warm cinnamon milk all the time. So it's really easy. Go ahead.
Another really cool place to hide powdered milk is in fruit smoothies.
Yes.
Because when it calls for milk, if you put it in a fruit smoothie,
Exactly.
kids can't tell
And
unless
orange
they know that you
Julius.
put it in.
It actually makes it creamier. My mom's recipes call for powdered milk.
So is this the,
This is morning wood.
the ones, do you like
That's
that?
an alternative. I actually like this better than
This
powdered
is,
milk.
yeah, this is a little bit smoother.
Yeah, I
It
don't
doesn't
like
seem
powdered
like
milk.
it
Yeah.
is pretty.
It sounds really good. You're saying pancakes, and I always use it in my bread too.
I use the regular milk. I use the real milk, powdered milk in my bread. But
Just the morning news back.
You can buy morning
you can
wood
get one right here if you want to try it.
at Walmart.
Yeah, I'm serious. I'll tell you in a minute.
Anyway, morning woods you can buy a lot of different places.
Morning moon.
Morning wood.
Morning news, I like it.
The
I
only,
like it.
one of the big differences between the alternative milks and real powdered milk is with the real powdered milk, you can actually make whipped creams and
Yes.
a lot of those
Yeah.
other things, buttermilks and things where this doesn't look like
Right.
yogurts.
This is the texture.
So this is not real milk?
This is an alternative. This is a non-dairy
So it's for
alternative.
kids who have
Like if if there's lactose intolerance, so if they need almond milk or soy milk, yeah, if they need almond milk or soy milk, this is a dairy-free alternative for that.
How do you go and tell?
So they're chocolate milk as well?
Yes.
There's chocolate as well?
And they're good, they taste great.
Yes. I actually really even like it just by itself. It's actually not, it's not as bad to me. But a friend of mine, when she was trying to use up her food storage and trying to, because they had young kids, and so they'd go through gallons of milk at a time, she would fill up, there's no ones in here that will be hearing this, so. When their gallon of milk would be about halfway, they put in, fill up the gallon the rest of the way so that they could use up their powdered milk and shake it up really good. Kids never knew.
Right, and I always do it, and I knew every time. You knew it, right? Yes.
The little ones, the little kids, they don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you put it on cereal, you're not gonna get it out. But yeah, these guys know that nobody else did.
Yeah. And I'm not a big milk drinker, and so I don't like powdered milk, but I like this. And on a side note, when my husband and I first got married, we felt like we needed to start doing food storage, and so I went to the sites that say this is what you're supposed to have and started buying up number 10 cans, because that's all I knew how to do. And I'm glad that you mentioned the expiration date, that it can go longer. This stack right here is some of my dairy stuff where the expiration date is coming up, and I have so much of it, I'm not going to use it. And so if you guys, there's margarine powder and some of the morning moos. And so if you want to try something, this is all for free that I'm just not going to get. Like I have way more.
Like butter?
There's margarine powder over here. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I know Amy, and she helped me with the, she came to the Relief Society meeting and did some. But anyway, in how to cycle that through, how I use it is so this is my butter powder container. I use it in my baking, and I just tear off part of the lid and put it on the front. And egg powder, hopefully it doesn't gross you out. That's actually what I used in the cornbread. So I actually do cycle through it now. I would not make scrambled eggs with my egg powder unless it was a severe emergency.
I tasted them though,
Yeah,
and they're really good.
yeah, I would not use butter powder in exchange for butter unless I absolutely had to. But in baking, this is what I used in my cornbread mix. And so, like, without having to have refrigerated butter, without having to have refrigerated items, like in the case of a longer emergency, that's how I cycle through that kind of stuff, instead of just having it and then giving it away at a Relief Society meeting or
I have a question. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so you know it's in powder for the butter and
Uh-huh.
so
You just, it says right on here how much water to mix it with. And so I just mixed it with water in a bowl and left it while I put the rest of the mix together. And then when it was time to add the wet ingredients, they were already ready to go. And so I can't taste a difference. Maybe you can, but it tastes like cornbread to me. So yeah, the same thing With food storage, it's not always a big mega emergency that you need it for. For us, my husband got laid off a month before I had, not this one, but my second daughter, and we lost our health insurance right before, like literally weeks before I had my daughter. And so all of a sudden, not only did we not have income coming in, but we had a lot of medical bills we had not planned on coming in. And if we didn't have food storage to rotate through, then we would have been in trouble. And so the meals that I made were meals that not only can you rotate in your pantry, but that kept food costs down for us. Just the way things happen, we didn't qualify for government assistance right away. And so we were trying to make filling meals as cheaply as possible. So the cornbread, I like sweeter cornbread, and so this comes with a cake mix and a cornbread mix, and you mix them together with a can of real corn. And so to me, it's better tasting cornbread than just a plain mix. That's all that's in here with my powders that I already had in food storage. With the cornbread, another meal that we like to make, so I'm gonna put it on top, but you just make the cornbread in a dish and top it with chili. And this is a 5-can chili, where I just open the cans, throw it in a pot, let it simmer. And in fact, I made it this morning. I was at Edweek until 11:30 last night, so my stuff got made this morning. I threw this in a pot, threw that in the oven, jumped in the shower to get ready to come here, and came out and it was all done to put together. So quick, easy, but also inexpensive if you're on a budget or trying to get out of debt or things like that. And it makes a lot. So that's all that we have. So, oh, yeah.
I just had a question. You say you mix the yellow bean mix and the cornbread mix, then you follow the instructions, obviously.
No, just
Cornbread.
350 degrees for 30 minutes.
It's like liquid, don't you need to put
She
any?
like
Oh yeah, water.
Yes.
Yes, add water and then the
You follow
egg
the
and butter.
instructions on the cornbread
Yes,
mix.
on the box.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, you follow the instructions, make them separately, mix them together, and either put it in a pan or make muffin. I made mini muffins so that you guys
You
can
make
try it.
each one separate.
You don't have to though.
You don't have to, you can mix them together.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah, no, you got, just as long as you make sure you use the amount of ingredients that are on both packages.
Right.
So,
Okay, one last item I'm gonna mention to you, you can also, out of that book, find that, and I know Patty's gonna talk about mixes, but you can make your own spaghetti sauce mix. I have a recipe for Outback Steakhouse seasoning that I love. This is really good on steak. And here's one for, pizza sauce. Okay, so you can do all of these yourself. And it saves you a lot of money and time, and you don't have to run to the store when you run out, okay? So, those are just a couple other things. And we're gonna go ahead and move a few things so Patty can,
Where are we getting those recipes?
they'll be on the website and
Everything everything but the steakhouse recipe is on there, and I'll have to get that up on the site.
Okay.
Okay.
But they're in that book that's going.
And that book that's around is gonna be on the website?
It's already there.
Oh.
And I do have some CDs, so, okay? So we'll turn the time over to Patty, and then afterwards, we have lots of food to taste. So, okay.
Did you wanna serve them while mine is in talk? I apologize for that, it's in talk. So maybe they can be eating while I talk?
Yeah, sure.
Is there a copyright on this book?
No,
It's okay to download?
It's okay to
Take
download it.
pictures and they print it out for you?
yes. See you in a second, world.
I have the benefit of having two classes in one. And so a lot of the things that I'll talk about go with what Pat's talking about. And it actually kind of goes a little bit even beyond that. So I hope you can take what you can use from my talk. I did mine as a talk because basically making mixes is so simple that it's really just putting in some flour, salt, spices, and stirring. That's it. It's really simple. So I wanted to spend my time in talking. And I actually probably should have went before Pat, because that's really good, wasn't it? She brought a lot and did really good. So, now some of the reasons that we would do mixes, I put a little sign up here. because it's really cost effective, it's really pennies on the dollar to make your own mix. And I brought a little demonstration, a little display up here, just that side is the self-made stuff that we would do. This side is what we would buy in the store, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Healthy ingredients, there's no preservatives. It's convenient if you unexpectedly run out of a product. We control the portion size. Eventually, we will run out of it anyways if the store was to close. And we would learn new skills. We teach our children by example, we gain knowledge, and we become more self-reliant. So those are some of the reasons why we would do our own mixes. We've kind of gone full circle with our parents and grandparents where they would make these scratch homemade recipes, and then the manufacturers would copy them and package them and make them shelf stable so they could sit on the shelf for who knows how long. And then they put them in a box or an envelope, and then we would buy them and save time for us. And now we're actually going around where we're actually going back to what our grandparents and our parents did. Saying we can do this in our own way, we can cut out that middleman and the extra ingredients that are not needed to make it more healthy, more natural, and real food. We want real food, and we want to save money. Isn't that right? Many people have decided that some ingredients used in products are things that they don't want to eat and they don't want to feed their families. They know they have a choice and are exercising that option. Many people are allergic to certain ingredients. I'm sure you've heard that left and right lately. And they're allergic to chemicals and realize that they can have a product if they just adjust the ingredients and the recipes themselves. Have you ever used a box of something like Hamburger Helper, which serves 4, and there's 5 in your family, and you don't realize that until it's time to eat? It's frustrating to do that, but we can make our own tailored size meals. We actually figure out how much we need and put that together instead of having the box tell us. For most of us, it's about a 15-mile round trip to the store to go purchase something that's missing from our ingredient list for our meal that day. The cost of the gas and the time surely outweigh the cost of just throwing something together already at home. I had made this Bisquick mix years ago, wondering if I would ever use it before it expired. They usually have about a 3-6 month expiration. I found out quickly that I used it faster than I ever anticipated because it was available. It was right there. I know I had made it really inexpensively. It was cheap. So I used that more often. We had biscuits for breakfast and snack time, sausage and gravy and biscuits, pancakes, waffles, toppings for pot pies, chicken with dumplings, deep fried vegetables, coating like a shake and bake on chicken, or potato wedges, etc. So the idea is that when you know you have it, and it wasn't really expensive sitting there, it was really cheap, I actually looked for ways to use it because it helped me out and it was really inexpensive. I wanted to show you something right here. It's kind of embarrassing to say, but it's a realistic story. And I bought this from Costco. It's a mixed buttermilk ranch. You know, you add a cup of mayonnaise and a cup of milk. This is really, I want to say, at least 8 years old. Is that terrible? It's still good. They don't sell it anymore. I went back, I like it so much, I went back probably 6 years ago looking to buy a lot more of it. And they don't sell it anymore. And I thought, why don't they sell it? It's so good. Probably because this has lasted me that long, they're not making money off of it. You know, it's just something that they aren't making money off of. So it's really easy to make your own mix, but that's exactly what this is a mix. I remember being shocked when I opened up a cup of noodles, you know, one where you just pull the paper off. And for the first time, the kind that you put the hot water in and close the lid with it. It had like 3 little sliver pieces of carrots in it, and 1 pea, and it had little pieces of like freeze-dried, teeny weeny pieces of chicken. I think it was chicken. The shrimp one's really interesting, because you look at this, I think it could be a brine shrimp, I don't know what that is. But I thought, is that it? And I kind of wondered why they even put that 1 pea in there, you know? I bought a box of Hamburger Helper today to show you the package of noodles in it. Whoops. This is the one I got out of the beef stroganoff. Okay? It's probably about a cup and a half of noodles in there. So this one I had bought, this is 16 ounces, it's a similar noodles. I bought this for 88 cents. No coupons, I don't know, it could have been on sale, it wasn't really a big sale. But you can tell the difference in making your own, what a difference that makes, okay? Just on the noodles. So you can see how much more you get when you invest in basic supplies, and the noodles in the box would not feed my family. I would have to get 2 boxes and waste them, or we would just simply be short. So the mixes allow you to adjust for your family size. Now I'm a couponer, and I can tell you that I can purchase things pretty cheap. I can stockpile what appears to be like a 2-year supply of brownie mix for maybe 50 cents a box, sometimes cheaper. But I can tell you that it's never a 2-year supply. What you think is going to last you never quite does. And it will run out, and you have to start all over again. It's kind of like the hamster on the wheel when you're purchasing from the store. You will continually have to do that, and we want to get off that wheel and start learning how to do it ourselves. So mixes will allow you to focus on a few basic items and then not tons of packaged foods to choose from. There are hundreds, thousands of make-a-mix recipes online to help us become better stewards of our resources and becoming self-reliant. There's blogs, Pinterest, online cooking websites, it's endless. This one site I clicked on that I mentioned to Pat, one site had 2,300 mixed recipes on it. One site, and there's hundreds of sites out there. On the website, I'll go ahead and include the links for this talk and then the sources of those websites. Recipes from Lori Week, she was doing steak classes, which were phenomenal, about making mixes, and it was kind of silly. We're sitting there and she's putting the flour and that's basically all of it, stirring it, and then the next one. We're thinking it's so easy to put this stuff in, make it together. A tip is always make sure that you label your mixes with the recipes that go with that mix. There's nothing more frustrating than staring at a container unlabeled and you have no idea what it is. It's really frustrating. That's a tip. We can start to acquire some helpful tools when we make mixes, like a sifter. They're kind of expensive now. Go buy a sifter, but if you can get a good sifter. Yeah, it's what our grandparents used to use and stuff. A sifter, you can use a whisk. I brought a whisk over here to do it. I even had a pancake, a slotted pancake holder that I didn't bring today because it's so beat up, but the ones with all the holes in it. And you can just put it in your bowl of flour and your powdered mixes and just shake it, and it'll kind of sift it. You just want to make sure that they're mixed up well enough together. Shaking it isn't going to mix it. You really need to whisk it. Yes?
Do you know the old-fashioned strainer, the little metal?
Yes.
You can use it. You get a big one, enough size, and you can do it.
Absolutely, yeah. You just want to make sure that it's mixed up so that those ingredients are incorporated. We can, let's see, I'm sure most everyone has measuring spoons, cups, containers, labels, books, copied recipes organized for easy access. Having them on the computer is just not good enough anymore. My power has been out off and on for the last 3 months. We're trying to figure that out in our neighborhood. And it's hard to go get something you need at the moment and you don't have it. Make sure you have these copied off. I have a photo box that I laminated on the outside, and I have index cards that say chicken, beef, salads, soups, all that. And then I have one for mixes, and I have these little 5x7 index office cards. And then I print them off on my computer with the mixes, and then I laminate it, and I have those ready to go. We want to have them accessible if the power goes out. Have them in a place that not only you know where they're at, but where your family. If you're called away to help somewhere, you're working, you're sick in bed, that you have other people in the family that can help you with that. And they're so easy, kids can do this. You can get free containers from the used products that you already have in your homes. Just clean them out and dry them, and they're good to go. Here's an example of that. Costco has the best. This were peanuts, just make sure you clean it out really well. You can put a bleach solution in there and let it set and pour it out. And you can even take these labels off or just slap another label on. There's tons of free containers you can use out there. Well, choose food-grade plastic or glass containers with lids. Costco usually has large, reusable containers they sell popcorn, nuts, and candies in. Walmart Bakery even has those plastic buckets that they've previously held cake frostings in. They have, I don't know if it's a 3-gallon thing or even the 5-gallon ones. And they're free.
Can I say this? Something I like to use for containers is the number 10 cans. Because
Yes.
I use the Pampered Chef
Absolutely.
thing to, so it doesn't cut you on the top, and then you get those lids. And then they're all the same size. I really
Absolutely.
find value in that.
Yeah.
And I do everything all the same size.
Whatever works for you. There's just so many things out there. You can also use your empty bottling jars, but I'd recommend saving them to use for actual canning, You can invest in containers or just use even empty ice cream buckets, it's up to you. And I really like the number 10 can. We can start by visiting some of our local stores that provide ingredients like Kitchen Needs. Winco has a great bulk section for ingredients. Orson Geeky in Salt Lake is another good source. Industrial Container Supply in Salt Lake is great. If you'd like to have all your stuff lined up exactly the same. There you can shop online at Azure Standard that delivers monthly at local drop-off points in the areas. You can find a friend and split a big bag of something. Stockpile your basic ingredients that you know will last you a long time. And that's really kind of what the Prophet has told. Those ingredients, with the exception maybe some oils, last us a long time. Other things like herbs, spices, you can easily grow your own herbs. It's ridiculous how easy it is to grow and dry them. Did you know that you can actually even use powdered, ground powdered white beans as a substitute in your mixes for fat, saving on your oils for other things. So anyways, and you can put that in the mix. It's harder when you use other things. Have to be refrigerated or you have to watch them, but white beans you don't. It also gives us another opportunity to rotate through our food storage items when we're using that. Another tip is if you're short on your grocery money, make sure you're investing in basics that'll take you further, providing you learn the skills to know how to put that together. Make a batch of mix, let me back up. Make a batch of mix at a time. Don't make a year's supply of a mix. Just do it as you go. You don't want to tie up your other ingredients when in fact you might be doing this quick here, but you might be doing something else with that flour and other ingredients later on. Just make it as you go. And if you particularly don't like the recipe that you've made, tweak it. just find another recipe or change it a little bit. Some people will find a mix and they'll say, I didn't like that, I'm not gonna do it anymore. Change it. If there's Bisquick recipes out there, there's thousands, there's probably 500 just of Bisquick alone. Find one that you like and that works for your family. We can stock up on the basics around Thanksgiving time. Everything goes on sale for baking around Thanksgiving time. And for the holidays. I use coupons, and so I'll wait for the best possible price, and then I'll plop a coupon on it and get several at once. But that's a good time to get, to find the sale and stock up more so. I just have to say really quick too, is I looked at a brownie mix, just a normal brownie mix on sale for $2.79 at the store. I'm shocked at how much prices have gone up. And I don't think we ever seen even the end of it. I think we're just going into that. So we want to invest in products too that have a long shelf life, like cocoa powder. I bought this little cocoa powder thing here. I bought this a long time ago. It really never goes bad. It just really doesn't. Some things, we talked about this, some things some things are required to have an expiration date, but they really don't go bad. I bought cocoa powder from Lehigh Rolling Mills in a bag. I've had that probably 15 years. And I have ice cream bucket left still. And it's really just the same as the day I bought it. We want to make sure that when we do our mixes or our products, we put them in containers that are pest-proof. We do not want to ruin, there's things that just get into our stuff. We don't want to, I like to kind of see through a little bit, so if there's a problem, you can see it and take care of it right away. I know this class isn't on dehydration, but I just have to put in this blurb about this. And we're really even out of time, but we can also enhance our mixes with dehydrated products. If you open up a package of instant oatmeal, you'll find a little bit of powdered oatmeal in there. They put that in the blender, and then they'll put a little bit of regular, quick cooking oats in there, maybe a little salt, a little teeny sugar, and we can add, maybe there's some spices, but we can add our own dehydrated apples, peaches, blueberries, any of that stuff. It just makes it so much better when we can add in our little dehydrated stuff. I challenge you to think about your grocery list and pick an item on it and study how you can eliminate that item off your list. After you've done that, pick another item that you can eliminate off your list. You can see your grocery list get smaller and smaller, saving you more money in the long run, and your knowledge and your skills will increase, and bringing you more peace and assurance and being self-reliant. I say this in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
Thank you for coming.